Hello there, and welcome to my, I almost said TED Talk, but in reality it's a Silksong talk. Honestly, I never really just sat down and had a good old talk about Silksong. The few times I did talk about it was always about news here, news that, and the occasional asking Hornet when Silksong meme. But today, I just want to talk about what's going on right now when it comes to Silksong and just about what the game has going for it generally. First though, if you do enjoy the content, please leave a like, comment or subscribe. Thank you.
La fenu venido.
For the first topic, I guess everyone would remember about the June 12th trailer, right? The Xbox reveal, and also the fact that Xbox said that most, if not all, the games shown will be out in 12 months. Silksong was in there, so you know what that means. It means that it might, well, it will, hopefully, release by then. Right? Right? Well, I do believe that, with the current evidence that we have, it still stands as a huge possibility. The 12-month period was pretty much confirmed by some of the playtesters, and there is also the fact that Team Cherry hasn't denied the deadline yet. We only have less than 2 months before June 12th. Similarly to the situation with Nintendo from a few years ago, when they said that Silksong was coming soon, which is something that Nintendo just put out there, I feel like if the Xbox announcement was not real, Team Cherry or someone that has ties to them would have debunked it a while ago. Of course, delays could always happen. If I recall correctly, some of the games shown back then were already delayed, but that doesn't mean that Silksong will be delayed as well. Honestly, Team Cherry could announce a delay on the 11th for all we know.
Phew, Silksong won't be delayed. Silksong delayed.
But until something concrete appears, I think that June 12th sounds like a pretty likely scenario for either the actual release on June 12th or before, or revealing the release date up until that point, after which it could still be a bit over a week, 2 weeks after June 12th, but you never know.
Drossik halimo.
Now, for the second topic, I do want to talk about how big Silksong is going to be, how big its scope became. Well, there are a couple hints that would tell us how big the game might be. First is the amount of enemies. Way back in 2019, Team Cherry showcased the 163rd, 64th, and 65th enemies that they were working on at that point, which would bring the total to around the same amount of enemies as Hollow Knight had by the time Godmaster released. Technically, that would mean that Silksong is as big as Hollow Knight at the very least. But with the fact that this was over 3 years ago, there is also the possibility of even more enemies being added to the game after the 2019 update. There's also the fact that it seems that we will get some form of towns that, even if they are just as big as Dirtmouth or smaller, it still is a lot. If that doesn't convince anyone of much, Silksong will also have side quests that can be taken from a quest board. This, I think, might be the most interesting bit when it comes to speculation. Will there be separate mini areas or special unique enemies for some of these quests? How many quests will there be? Because since there are quest categories, I would speculate that there would be quite a few of each type scattered throughout Farloom. I could also bring up the 100 bench comment, but I do feel like that one was more of an exaggeration and not really an accurate number.
Gala negosa dross.
Now for the final topic, let's discuss the story and gameplay of Silksong. Story-wise, we don't really have much. We know that the game takes place in a more lively kingdom when compared to Hallownest, and that Hornet was kidnapped most likely because of her connection to the Weavers. Other than that, it's mostly speculation. We don't even know for sure if the game is a sequel or a prequel story-wise, as when Team Cherry addressed the game as a sequel, it could just mean that it's the next game in the Hollow Knight franchise. Like, it's Hollow Knight 2. So now, what do I want to talk about when it comes to gameplay? Well, the fact that it will be really different when compared to Hollow Knight. Even with all the spells, nail arts, and ability altering charms, I don't think Hollow Knight is even close to the amount of abilities and tools that Hornet will have at her disposal.
Just give it up.
Knight, Hornet,
It's got all the
tools,
at her disposal.
pins, saws, bombs, lifeblood.
And god damn, I forgot the last one. What the hell was that again?
What I am somewhat worried about is how complicated combat will be with all these new options like diagonal down dash and all the tools. I'm worried because it might throw off some of the players that enjoyed Hollow Knight because of its simplicity. Of course, having so many options and also being able to combine them in different ways because of the crest system is still a really awesome thing to have. Getting different tool builds because different quests have other slots will be quite nice, and the fact that crests themselves affect your gameplay loop by giving you different attacks is quite awesome. I personally do have faith in Team Cherry that they will be able to balance the new mechanics in such a way that it will not overwhelm players, even though you will have way more options when compared to Hollow Knight. Well, that's about it. Generally, we don't know that much about Silksong, and I do think that it is a good thing since we are going in like 95% blind. Expanding on the combat and lore of the original game will be the two biggest things that will attract players back to Hollow Knight. And I think I speak for all of us that I can't wait to play the game. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed watching the video and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.